Hey everyone, I'm Dino Bidala, and welcome to tonight's Dino Bidala Show on Sirius XM Channel 127, Wednesday, July 21st. As always, I'm here to be your MBFF. Today was the brawl on the mall, the brawl on the Washington Mall, and Speaker Pelosi won the battle. It is ridiculous that the GOP to this day, Kevin McCarthy and the leadership on the right, is still defending Donald Trump, the man who incited the January 6th act of domestic terrorism. And again, that's what the FBI director, Christopher Wray, the Department of Justice, has defined January 6th as an act of domestic terrorism. You're with us or you're with the terrorists. Well, Kevin McCarthy and his minions have made it clear they were with terrorist Trump, because that is the only explanation for Kevin McCarthy for appointing for his 5 people to the January 6th Select Committee, 3 of them who voted in essence to overturn the election, and worse, 2 of them really outspoken leading up to January 6th, helping radicalize people, and then after their appointments, just undermining the committee before it even began. And that's Jim Jordan, of course, who's horrible, and Congressman Jim Banks. Now, Banks is not as well known and not as bad as Jim Jordan, to be fair. You know what Jim Banks, though, just so people understand, we'll go through this more in detail on my show. Within days of Joe Biden being declared the winner in November, he joined with other Republicans sending a letter to Bill Barr beginning the big lie, beginning the radicalization, alleging there was irregularities and fraud perhaps, and that the DOJ had to investigate. We've not seen that before. So you had that. Then Jim Banks was one of the over 100 members of Congress on the Republican side who signed the brief filed by the Attorney General in Texas to try to go to the Supreme Court and overturn the election. And then after Banks was appointed, just yesterday, he put out a statement saying Speaker Pelosi created this committee, quote, solely to malign conservatives and justify the left's authoritarian agenda. No, this was an investigation into an attack that Jim Banks was almost a victim of. It was an act of domestic terrorism to kill members of Congress, Mike Pence, senators, anybody. Now, Banks wasn't scared because he was on the side of the co-conspirators because he was voting to overturn the election. So he was one of those people. So maybe that's why he wasn't scared. But then Jim Jordan is really bad. Jim Jordan, even before the election happened in November, was helping Donald Trump lay the groundwork for the big lie. Tweeted in October that the election, Democrats are trying to steal the election after the election. So already began that then. After the election, he was on Fox News, wherever they would allow him on, talking about saying, I don't know how you can ever convince me Donald Trump didn't win this election. And literally on January 6th, with the crowd building outside, he stood on the floor of the House and said that there's no way that Joe Biden, who stayed in his house, you might remember he was quarantining or not doing events outside, big events, said no one who stayed in his house like Joe Biden could have won this election. It makes no sense to any of us. So there is Jim Jordan, a man who helped radicalize the terrorist, who is, in my view, the 20th hijacker on 9/11, who didn't get on the plane but was part of the planning. That's who Jim Jordan is. And I know those are stunning words, but this was an act of terrorism. If you look through that prism, it's pretty clear. There's no moral ambiguity. You're with us, the United States of America, or you're with the terrorists. Jim Jordan should be a witness. Forget being on the committee. We have to know, was he involved in bringing people there? Did he fund any of the groups coming there? Did he help radicalize them one-on-one with his continuing investigation? That has to be looked to. It might not ever rise to the level of a crime for what Jim Jordan did, different than Donald Trump, but he's certainly going to be the subject of this investigation. Instead, Jim Jordan said yesterday, we need to focus on Speaker Pelosi. That's why Speaker Pelosi threw them out. That's why Liz Cheney, who it's so bizarre to be saying nice things about Liz Cheney on this issue, and only this issue, to be blunt, spoke up today, a short time ago, saying Jim Jordan and Banks should have never been on this committee, slamming Kevin McCarthy, the House GOP leader, for being disingenuous, from covering up the truth about January 6th, the American people. All of this is because Kevin McCarthy went and met with Trump last week. And Donald Trump, no doubt, told Kevin McCarthy who he wanted on the committee. Of course he picked Jim Jordan. And then Jim Banks, doing what he was doing, saw this as a stepping stone for his career, to continue to underplay a terrorist attack on our capital. It's intellectually very difficult to understand how over 500 Americans could be arrested for attacking our capital in the name of and because of and at the request of Donald J. Trump, the man who radicalized him, who picked the day of January 6th, told him to be there. He picked the time. So the rally ended at the exact time they were going to begin certified votes. He told them he was going down there. He told them to fight over 20 times in that speech. Yet they get arrested, but the man who coordinated this, who instigated it, who radicalized it and incited it, walks free. Donald Trump is the Osama bin Laden of the January 6th attack. Let me repeat that. Donald Trump is the Osama bin Laden of the January 6th terrorist attack. That's who he is. That is his role. Bin Laden wasn't on the planes, but bin Laden was guilty of being involved in a terrorist attack on our nation. Donald Trump literally was telling him he was going with them on the plane to go down to attack the Capitol. Yet he walks free. There's something fundamentally wrong with our criminal injustice system that we have, where Donald Trump is not charged. We'll talk about this much more on the show today, but Speaker Pelosi did the right thing. She won this battle. Didn't matter who was on the committee. The right was going to attack it as being partisan. So now you've got bipartisan committee. Liz Cheney's on it. And I hope we have a thorough, sober investigation into the truth so Americans know exactly what happened and the role that maybe elected officials, we know Trump played, but maybe others. So my show's live 6 to 9 p.m. on SiriusXM channel 127. You might say, hey, I don't subscribe to SiriusXM. Go to the website, SiriusXM.com. There are free trials. Click on free trial. Listen to my show, channel 127 Progress. Better yet, call in. Be a part of our family. If you want progress, stay active. We got a lot of work to do. Thanks for tuning in.